Hi, this is Kim Pinkney and welcome to my Marvel Mayhem. This is my dollar store coloring book, Marvel. And so I'm going to do a tutorial really quick. Well, really quick. It'll probably take about an hour to get through, so let me go ahead and step on it. I am going to color in the Hulk. What you'll need if you're going to try this technique is your crayons, and you'd think that the Hulk, you see green, like a yellow green, black, going all the way around. Now the cool thing about white is that it can be covered with another color, or it can cover. Alright, so we're going to throw some more white on there. Now if it's hitting him, we're going to get some of his man boob right here. And then there'll be a little bit of a after shadow or reflective shadow right here. So we're going to throw that in here, because it'll go light, moving into darkness, and then coming back into the light. So if you want to follow that pattern, you'll get like some really nice depth to your work. Okay, so like this will be a little bit lighter, but this might hit just a smidge right here, and it's kind of round. This is his round rib cage here. This is here. I'm going to hit a little bit here, and again with the same thing, it'll be light, it'll be dark, and then it'll be light again. So hit that, but not white. It'll be white, but then it'll be light. White, and then it'll be light. Okay, so let's see. This is going to be more in shadow, so we won't see that so much. And let's see, it's not low enough to give him a happy trail, so we won't do that. Let's see. There we go. Alright. Just enough. You don't want to go all the way in, but it doesn't. It's not going to hurt anything. Okay. Now this is behind and it's going to be in shadow, but it will catch a little bit of the light, only because it's going to be a little bit further behind. This is dark, however, back here might catch just a little bit of that light end. It won't be white, it'll catch a little bit of light end. Down here maybe might catch a little bit of that back shadow, or that backlighting. Like I said, I'm going to backlight some of this in blue, and then some of this maybe I might do a little bit of yellow on top, blue on the bottom, make the green. I don't know. We'll keep working with it. You never know. We'll see what we come up with. Okay, and this is usually sticking outwards, and it's coming kind of forward, but not as forward as this. So it's also going to catch just a little bit of light because it is bending, and this might catch a little bit light too. If it doesn't, that's okay, we'll color over it. Okay, so we pretty much went all the way around the Hulk, and then we'll start working inward. Okay, if it's okay if it goes a little bit further in. You'll be coloring that in and blending. Okay, alright, so we're going all the way around. Whatever the light touches is our kingdom, Don't ask me about the shadowy place. You don't need to go there. We don't go there. Okay. Alright, so we got all that going around. The next thing I usually do is look at where the darker color is. I didn't even get to touch his face. Okay. One of the things we want to keep in mind, ears are usually further back, so they're not going to get as much light, but they might get a little bit. It's really tiny, so it's not going to get much. His cheeks are round, so maybe around the edges here we'll get some white. So I'll throw that on there. And this is what I'm talking about. My tip is way larger than this itty bitty tiny spot, so I'm not going to be able to get really great detail out of that. Okay, his chin sticks up, kind of like, think of a ball. Okay, so part of this ball is going to catch some of that light, so we're going to throw a little highlight there. Alrighty, We might give him some gorgeous lips. And let's see, his hair is going to catch some of this highlight too. So let's go around the outside of his hair. Like Archer says, just the tips. Okay, because everything that's not going to be hitting the light is going to be dark. Okay, all right. So those of you who do have a light touch, you can go back through and add your, you know, you can color this whole thing in yellow and then layer it with the green. We can do that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get close to these white spots as possible. That's going to be highlighted with his yellow. And you don't have to have a light touch. You can have a heavy touch. It's up to you what kind of touch you have. Doesn't matter, because we're going to blend the stuff out of it, the stuffing out of it. We'll start with the chest area here so you can kind of get an idea of what we're doing. Okay, and we're going to go a little bit into that white. Okay, because the yellow is going to be the highlight of his skin. It's going to be the lightest part of his skin. That's next thing hitting the light. Because when the light hits it hard. So think of it hitting it hard. Okay, so we're doing his shoulders, his chest. If you overcolor it, it's okay. Okay, because we're going to go back over it a couple times. This is not going to be a one layer thing. As a matter of fact, you want multiple layers on this. And this is kind of like an ugly stage, so you're going to come across a lot of ugly stages before you get to the beauty stage. Okay, we'll throw a little bit of that in there. It comes close to the light, so we'll throw white on top of that. Okay, so go back over the yellow with white, and you'll see they're kind of going to blend together too. It's not going to hurt a thing. If you want to keep your yellows pure, I don't recommend it, but if you want to keep your highlights really super pure, you want to have a clean blending stub. Okay, so keep one nearby for like the super light ones. But what I usually do is I don't clean like a previously used one, because it gives it more of a rugged look. I don't mind it bringing in a little bit of a dirtiness from something else. I hope that makes some sort of sense. Okay, so, and we're going to also add a little bit here to give a little curve to his man boob here, and that's white. We're going to throw a little bit of yellow into there. Okay, now this is round here. All right. On this one, I'm not doing a vein tutorial, but you got to think of veins as an extra hump in the scheme of things. So, what a light's going to hit it. We'll go ahead and put the light right here. Give it a nice little circle here, and it kind of bends because it's this part of the arm. And then we're going to throw some yellow on that. Yellow's going to go right underneath it, and maybe a little bit around here. Sometimes you can think of where the lines are, where your dark spots are going to be. Okay? That's another way of looking at your lines as well. So it's kind of like a little hint. Okay, now if you want, you can also throw in, you know, bring it away from the other yellow, because what we're going to do is we're going to add green on top of this yellow. Okay, so this is going to be super bright compared, and this is going to be a darker but bright, and this is going to be, let me see, let me think a little bit. Okay, so if this is getting up closer to the light, but it's a distance, This is a judgment call type of thing, because things that are closer to you are usually lighter than things that are far away. So you can either make them both about the same because he's coming up towards the light. This is going to be more detailed than this one. Okay, we'll agree to disagree on that one. Okay, all right, here we go. And it can't hurt to round things up. So as you see it, round it. It's got a bend to it. Give it a little bend yourself. A little bend to it. Let's go ahead and throw a little bend in there. Anywhere you see the lines, it can't hurt to go ahead and toss in a little thing above it. It's not going to hurt anything. Okay, because this is where the darker colors are supposed to be, right underneath those lines, and sometimes above it. This is going to be the color that becomes lighter. It goes white to the dark to the light. It's a reflective light, I think that's what it's called. So you can use a light touch on this, or you can use a heavy touch. It doesn't matter. If it's not light enough for you, you can always lighten it up a little bit more, but you don't want this to be lighter than this. Just try to keep that in mind. It gives it a roundness. There we go. Abs for days. Okay, all right, and we'll give him maybe a hint of white here, of the highlight, a little white here. Okay, so let's see if we can do something to the face here. All right, we want to keep a roundness to his face. We do want a hint of, and you can color as hard as or as light as you need to. Okay, remember where the light is. It's going away from the light, but then it'll get dark, like around here, but then it'll get light again. Okay, then it'll get dark here for his shadows, because this is the light's hitting from behind. This is going to be all dark, and then it comes the light. So darkness to light, wherever the light's hitting it. Okay, that's where the light's going to touch. Like around here, I want to say that it's going to do some reflective light, so this will be coming back up blue, I think I'll have it do. So we might even use blue around the edges here, or we might just leave it in the background. We'll see how it works. Okay. Alright. And you can go a little dark here. We're going to probably go over it again. Okay. This is a little area here that's going to catch a little light. Alrighty, so this is going to be dark, so I'm figuring there's going to be a lot of green. Okay, so like right here, we'll throw it underneath his eye and his cheekbones. There we go. And a little bit in his little muzzle. Okay. Alright, that's not bad for some of the light. We can also get away with throwing some light up in here. So, this is, I assume, his thumb. It looks kind of funky. Okay, so we'll throw here a little bit of light here. This is going to make brown happen, like dark colors here. So let's go ahead and just hit the very top here of his fist and around the edge right near the white, and we can come in just a little bit because it's kind of like a round. So wherever you see kind of like a round ball, you want to go ahead and try to do that round ball thing. And if you don't know what I mean by the round ball thing, let me take a quick second and I'll show you. Okay, round ball thing. Wherever the light hits it the hardest, it's going to be white or lighter color. Okay. Oh, I broke my pen! Oh well. Okay. No crying over broken crayons. Okay. Hits it white. Okay. The further you get away from it, the darker it gets, and then it lightens up a little bit. So, does not hurt to throw a little bit of light right here. But this will never be as light as that, because this is a reflective shadow. Okay, so we're going to do this with the Hulk skin. What we just showed is that his skin goes from green to yellow when it's touched by light. So here is the lightest part of his skin. Okay. This should only take a second to do. Okay. And then, let's see, the darkest part of his skin, we'll go ahead and make black. This is the very darkest part of his skin. Okay. And it'll be super black. Then what we're going to do is go over that with a couple of greens. We want to get as close to this yellow green as possible. So let's see, that's a little brighter. Oh, here we go. This looks like a good one. Okay, I'm gonna take these two. Okay, so far I've got these 4 here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is use this yellow green, or rather what's it called? Green yellow. Close enough. Okay, it's pretty close to this yellow. And I'm going a little bit into the yellow, and then I'm going to go even further in with this darker green. And usually I use about 3 colors when I do these. Okay, and you want to go over both the black and the light green and the yellow. So it can't hurt to use all the colors again. So let's go over this, and we're making a gradient. Okay, and you see how it's all changing. Okay, and we want to get as close to that dark color as possible. And you can even go into the other colors. Just remember to go back over them with the other colors. I am putting some pressure on here. And then you want to go over it with another lighter color, because you want to make it seem like you can't tell when one color begins and the other one ends. Alright? So you just keep going over it. You want to get rid of that hard edge is what I'm trying to say. You can do it in circles. Okay, and then use this yellow here and go into it again. And you can go over all of it with that yellow. And you'll get this kind of look right here. And then again, you'll want to go over it with white once you get to this point. But you want to keep doing that, working it through until you get to the dark black. From there, it becomes, it's like the opposite, going further down. And then this is always the opposite of this. So wherever you're going to find the highlight, you're going to find the opposite of that, until it gets all the way down to the lightest green. It's not going to be this white, and it's not going to be the absolute lightest, but all of them will blend together to make the Hulk skin. If you guys would like to see another tutorial on how to do this, or if you haven't made something like this before, let me know in the comments, and I will make a dedicated video with an example on how to kind of make your own little thing, you know, so that you can understand how this light works, this light stuff. Okay, and then go all over it again with the lighter color, and you just kind of want to keep working it until you can't tell when one begins and the other one ends. And that's what's going to be happening with the Hulk skin. Now, this is one of the things I always hated with these colored pencils, these crayons, and you don't want to wipe it with your hand because you don't want to keep it on your hand, is that it leaves this dust, and then it gets this this roughness to it. Okay? What we're going to do is we're going to heat that up, and we're going to work that roughness out of it. You've got a few seconds. I'll let it heat up a little bit. Start to see it melt. I'm going to bring it closer so you can see it melt. You only have a few seconds to work with it while it's warm. You can either add more to it or you can blend. What I like to do is add more to it, heat it up again, and then blend it. But for the sake of time, start at your darkest color and work that bad boy around. And I would even add more of the darker color right down here. Because the point of it all is that you don't want to see where one begins and one ends. And I would just keep layering it and layering it and layering it and layering it. I would put more darkness here. Okay, and while it's warm, because this paper's warm now, it's not hot, it's warm. It's warm enough to soften your crayons. And you can always use a heavier touch, that's fine. It's not going to hurt a thing. As a matter of fact, go ahead and put some pressure on it. Not enough to break your crayon like I did, Kim Smash, but just enough to get it to move a little bit. And then you want some more of the lighter and then some of the white. So I'm going to toss this on there again. And white kind of acts like a buffer to keep it away from the very edge. And just go over the whole thing with the different colors because you want to kind of blur the lines. You don't want to see where these colors begin and end. Okay? So that's what we're going to try to do with the Hulk. Bam, bam. Okay, I'll see this. I'm not sure if you see this okay, but on the color wheel, and it doesn't hurt to have one of these either printed out or, you know, close by. Whenever you need to get to a darker color, use the opposite color on the color wheel. So like if I wanted a deeper, darker red, I would highlight with, or I would put the green down first, and I would get a deeper, darker red like I did with Spider-Man. Same thing with the pants. I'm going to probably lay down some yellow or the yellow-green in order to make the purple pop. Okay, so red and green will make, when they're mixed together, will make brown or black if you put them in enough, and will make the darker or make them stand out more. So let me show you what I'm talking about, because Kim, you sound like you're smoking something crazy. Okay, so wherever I want it to be, if I don't want to use black, this is your alternative. Put red where the green's going to be. And I'm going to do it all up in this mug here. And this is part of your color theory. There we go. Looks funny, yeah, but it's going to, this is the ugly phase. It'll start getting lovely in a sec. This is everywhere that's further, it's like inward. The lights on the outside, the darker colors where the play of the color tones are going to be on the inside here. And yeah, I did come a little bit close to here, but this is where I'm going to have the green be. It's going to be light, and then get dark. Dark. This is all going to be dark green. Okay. There's Abby tummy. Hulk tummy. Okay. Alright. And then, let's see. It can't hurt to have a little bit of the green underneath here. It's going to be green here. And around the edges here. We're definitely going to have some green. This is going to be a dark green. It's going to make our green super dark. Okay. Now, if you're having problems getting because of your paper is crappy, if you're having any problems getting the crayons onto the paper, you can always warm up the paper. The pencil, the crayons will start to melt a little bit, and they'll be sliding across your paper. It's absolutely awesome. Okay, this is going to be shades of green. That's why you don't see any yellows here. Okay, I'm going to start off with the lightest green, just in a few areas in the front here. This one here is like a sea green. And we can even use it here. Alright, let's go ahead and use a dark green. This one here is the Granny Smith apple. And I'll show you what it does to his man boob when I use it. Okay. And you see how it becomes this really weird brownish color? Not a problem. And just keep working it in. Now you start to see it kind of bunch up and stuff like that. It's not a problem. Just go ahead and keep going. Because we're going to blend this. You'll get that happening a lot. It happens when more wax comes down and flakes, and then they catch each other. It's not going to hurt it's not going to hurt a thing. And you can go a little bit into the yellow. And then I'm going to throw a darker green in. This one here is forest green. Looks ugly, huh? You're going to have a lot of that. And you can just go ahead and hit that. Hasn't changed yet, huh? Give me a second. Okay. Blowing, no good. Blowing, no good. Okay. Alright. And it doesn't hurt to have like a little board underneath, because you're going to be putting pressure on it, and it may make imprints on the other stuff. Plus it gives you a little bit more give underneath your pencil. So, let's see, here we go. And just work it in like that. The more the merrier. Because when you melt it, it's all going to blend. I'm going to throw a little bit of black into it, because this is the area where it goes light to the dark, deepest dark, and we'll give them a Hulk nipple. Okay, and then it'll get light again, but not bright white. So throw that on there. And you just keep layering it. And you can throw force onto it, however you want to get that on there. Right now I'm back to the Granny Smith apple again. Okay, so from here I say it'll be yellow. Looks like a mess. Here, I'll even bring it up to the camera. There you go. That's one of the things I hated about crayons, and you probably experienced it too, to the point where you just like snap them all and throw them all in the trash. Believe me, I was close to doing that, but don't. Okay. Alright, we got that. Here's my blending stub. It's not clean, but if you want to keep it pure or whatever, that's on you. Okay, for about 10 to 15 seconds, maybe less, I'm going to see this thing melt. Lovely. Turn it off, and then quickly start to blend. And this is where you kind of want to be gentle. There we go. and just gently work it in. As it cools, it'll get harder to move. Okay, it'll stop moving actually. Okay, so you want to layer it again. Throw your greens on. You don't want to lose your crest there. So, oh, there's my red. There we go. Throw the red, or you can use black, depending on how deep you want your greens to be. There we go. Okay, and then over the black, go green. And then we'll throw some more, like a lighter green or a yellow right there. And if you don't want to trap any more of these little thingamabobs in there, you just go ahead and rub them off, brush them off, and then let's throw some yellow on here. And work that yellow right on in there. Now I'm not being gentle, I'm throwing this color on here. I want it to be nice and rich. There we go. And I think I lost his boob there, but that's okay. We'll just toss it back in there again. Alrighty, and just get a lot of crayon on there. Brush it off. Okay, make sure it brushes all the way off your paper, or else you'll melt the flecks right on there. Whoops. I hate when I drop pencils and crayons. Okay, give me a second. Okay. Right now we are going to hit the darkest parts of the Hulk. We've got the lightest. Now we're going to aim for the darkest. Just like I did here, we're going to have this happen right here, and then we're going to come by with the lighter shades of green until we can get to that lighter shade of yellow. Okay? So we're looking at everything where the light is not hitting it. Okay? So like underneath his chin. And if black is too dark for you, you can always use brown. You can use the opposite of whatever green is, so that would be red, and that'll give it a nice deep tone. I did the same thing with Spider-Man. I used the opposite color, or rather the complementary color on the color wheel, and I'll bust one out in a second. Okay, here's red, and red is the opposite of green on the color wheel, and I'll bust that out in a second. Just give me one second. Alrighty, you're a jaunty little Hulk here, and go. There we go. And then I'm going to add a little bit of yellow to this. Okay, and I'm going to have to move my crayons. Oh, actually, let me try a different yellow. This is spring green. I'm going to put that right there. Alright, and then we'll toss a little bit of spring green on his face. This is very, very fine details, and I hate it when it's this small. So bear with me. It's not going to be pretty, I don't think, but we'll do our best. Okay. This one here is Granny Smith again. And I'm getting underneath where his cheekbones are. and where his lips would be. And there's going to be some stuff here that I'm going to miss. It's this dang tiny. When it's this tiny, I probably want to use colored pencil, because at least you can get a colored pencil relatively to that pencil thinness. Alright, underneath his jaw, I'm going to add some red. And sometimes black is just a little overpowering. There we go. And it's not as forgiving as using the complementary color. So, let's see. I'm going to use forest green again. And I'll put that underneath his chin. And then it'll start to come to a lighter color right there. Everything here in the center is going to be like a deeper, darker green. But let's see. If it's still a little rough looking, you can always heat it up and add more. And then blend. But make sure that once you heat it up and you blend, that you add a little bit more color to it, because you don't want a roughness, you want a nice softness, and you don't want to rub off too much of your color. Who am I kidding? It's going to look awesome. Okay, keep going. I keep working the boob, working the boob. When you get tired of one area, you can always move on to another. But if you really want to get some really nice dark colors and things, just keep working it, keep working it. Okay, so now it's nice and melted. Okay, and then just gently rub it in. There we go. Isn't that lovely? And if you need to lighten it, throw more yellow on it, or a lighter green, and you can soften it to that ballsy glow. Okay? Alright, so we'll do that again in all these other places. We're going to get a nice green color here. And if you want, just to give yourself a little bit of a boost, warm up the area first. That's what we're going to be working on. Don't blend, just warm it up. For about maybe 5 or 6 seconds. 8, 9, 10. That'll work. Okay, and we're going to throw a little bit of yellow on there and a little bit of green. Yellow and green. And you got to kind of work a little bit quicker, because and when I just put down the green, it was nice and smooth. It's all very, very smooth. Okay. It still doesn't keep the flakes from coming, but it's all nice and smooth. So warm up the area first. That's an option. And then layer your colors. Okay. Black. Use a little bit of black. Where I don't need any precision, I'm going to go ahead and use one of my old blacks here. There we go. Using yellow green again. Let me get rid of some of these flakes. There we go. If something starts to get on your nerves and it's just not doing what you want it to do, work on a different spot. That way you get a different, your eyes get tired when you're looking at the same thing over and over again. And you might see something different, you might want to add to it, you may have a different idea. Just don't get too frustrated, get all Hulk-like and toss it and stuff. because you will go through an ugly stage before it gets gorgeous. Okay, and don't forget to wipe this stuff away. Either a paintbrush, something soft that will just move this stuff out your way, because it does get annoying. Okay, and you can go back over it with yellow if he's more of a yellow Hulk than a green Hulk, or he's more green but he's got lots of highlights. He's out in the daylight, he's doing his Hulk thing, trying to get his Hulk tan, and somebody just pissed him off, and now he has to go kick somebody's butt. You know how things are. You gotta go all Hulk on somebody. Mind your own business. Alright. You still see my red. It's okay. And if you do still see the complementary color underneath, you can always melt it and add some more. If you need to soften some of the colors, you can add white, and that'll also give it another little boost to it. So like, say I needed to soften this up a bit, white is fabulous for that. Also, white also kind of smooths things out too. So let me just toss that on there and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so you just go ahead and rub it in. And you get the gist of it. And you're going to do this all over the Hulk. I would do this as a full tutorial, but my computer does not like long sequences. So I'm going to have to kick this into time lapse. And I will join you after it is done. Or I will stop along the way, but pretty much I'm going to be repeating this same technique, and you'll be able to follow what I'm doing. Go. And just alternate the colors. If you find that your it's too bright for you, you can find colors that are to your liking, or you can go over it with a darker color, or it's complementary, just to dull it up a little bit more. Okay? When it's dry like that, it won't move. So what I recommend is first rolling some on here. Make it long. Then add more color. This one here is forest green again. Okay. And then add more yellow. Where's my yellow? There we are. Add that in there. Move in a little bit to other colors. Okay. Rub it off. Add a little bit more. Because remember, I'm trying to get to where they seamlessly go into each other, where you can't see where the black or the green go into each other. Or if I want to make it even that much bolder, add more black. And then add the yellow on top. Like I said, the opposite here will be the opposite, will be the light color. Wipe off the crumbles. And then clean it up again. And then from the light area, go ahead and blend to the dark, depending on which one you want to be more dominant. Either start at the dark, blend to the yellow, or vice versa. If you don't want to lose too much of your yellow, start at the yellow and blend to the dark. Okay? Either way, you're going to get a nice, smooth gradient. Okay? And if you don't like this area, before you start trying to rub into it or anything like that, add a little bit more to it. Whatever's missing. Is it missing more yellow? Is it missing more green? Just look at it. I think it could use just a little more yellow right here. And can use a little bit more color play towards the darkness. So a little bit more of this green. Now, if this concept doesn't work for you, you can always find a picture of the Hulk and see if you can try to get those same tones. Crayola has 64 colors for you to monkey with in order to try to get to that tone. So if you want to just refresh this, add a little bit more to it, warm it up, and then just rub it in gently, because they'll move like the wind. There we go, until it doesn't. There we go. And because the air gun blows and your hair dryer will blow, you may even be able to hit a couple other spots that maybe have gotten some of the heat. So, and also your blending stub will also pick up some of your some of the colors, and you can move them around. So if you want, let me see what the blending stub still has on it. It still has like a little bit of gray, black, that's still on it from when I used it here. If you like the drama to Hulk skin, you want to have less movement of tone, like it goes abruptly from green to black to yellow. But if you want a nice soft movement of color, you want to go ahead and start blending those guys together. Like I said, like you can't tell when it begins and when it ends. I like a little bit of both. Alrighty. So now that we're done playing with his boobs, let's move on to his arms. I'm going to kick it into time lapse. It's pretty much going to be the same thing. I'm going to, I want even darker here. And I'm going to fill this all in with green, doing my thing, and then I'm going to just do that same technique all through. Okay? Just be mindful of where the light is hitting it. Light's hitting it on top. So this is going to be dark to light. I got to put a light tone here. But where it's really hitting it is going to be around the outside, and those are going to be kind of like white. Or around this area, I'm going to kind of make it maybe blue, just to give it a little bit more drama. Okay? So let's see what I come up with. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments. I will answer anything that you ask to the best of my ability. I'm not a professional with this. Let's see. Right now I'm using green. This is green. This is what green looks like. I'm going right over this whole thing here. You can even go back over in this area since I didn't look like I used too much green. And because you've put color already on it, the crayon is even smoother when it gets onto the other stuff. It's kind of like it's got a base now to work with. It's like, now I can work with this. Alright. Same thing down here. This is all, make this all green. Alrighty. Hulk's got a lot of real estate on him where you can add different things to him if you wanted to add cuts or bruises, or like I said earlier, you can add veins. You just kind of think of it being just a little bit more of a bump and a ridge in the road here. It would have its own colors and stuff like, well, colors. It'll have its own ridges and highlights and stuff like that. So let me add over here. I would have loved to see Hulk with some tattoos. Maybe next, if I have another picture of Hulk, all hulking out and junk, I'd love to put like some tattoos on him. Say like Smash or Mother or Gamma, the gamma radiation symbol. That would be tight. Okay, let's see. Yellow. Yellow, yellow, yellow. And I'm just laying just a lot of wax down, a lot of crayon. Lay it down. I'm not being gentle with it either. I am just going for broke here. I'm pushing hard so I can get a lot on there. And yeah, it's going to get kind of rough and ugly looking. As soon as we start to blend it, it's going to look gorgeous. Simply gorgeous. There'll be less of this because it's, well, the light is hitting it, so we should have kind of like a light going this way. So yeah, this will be okay because it's bulging out. I was going to take that down to more of a green tone. Yeah. And just, I'm trying to remember that it's round, so I'm going round in certain spots. Round, round, doing U shapes. Everything is curving. Always think curving, don't think flat. Flat is the enemy. Unless it's anime. Flat shading good. Okay. Alright. Let's start melting this bad boy. Give it a second to warm up. And wipe off some of this. Oops. Okay. There we go. And you just watch it melt. You're only going to go in there for a few seconds, because if you leave it on too long, you won't be able to move it. For a few seconds. It doesn't take much. It's not like we're melting an entire crayon, just bits of one. And I apologize for any sounds you hear in the background. I'm not the only one here. There we go. Okay, it stopped moving, so we're going to go ahead and warm it up a little bit more. I might have warmed it up just a little much, but it's okay. And this will help me throw more grains down, and you see it's just gliding. So when you get a chance, try this on your artwork. I'll see if I can do a couple portraits using this technique. And see how that turns out on different paper besides this newsprint. This might boost your crayon coloring. I've seen a lot of videos. I was trying to find a video that does kind of what I'm doing right now without melting like an entire crayon to do it, and I didn't see any. Some of them are using solvents, some of them are not even bothering with that. They just color super light and hope for the best. Some of them would have benefited greatly had they tried this trick. And it's just a hair dryer, blending stubs, and just have fun. Just work it on in there. And I'm going to add it black where I want a little bit more play. Alrighty, and I really want my darks dark. Now if you really need to get a lot of color down at once, you can melt your crayon a little bit and it really just throws it on there. But it's up to you how you want to do it. I don't need that much crayon right now. Okay. This is too dark for your Hulk, you can always go over the entire thing with a whole nother color, like yellow to lighten it up, white to lighten it up, and it'll also smooth it out a little bit too. So let me see if I can demonstrate a little bit of that, and just move some of this while I can. See, it's gorgeous. I love how it's moving. This might be too much black. So add more green. Add a different green. Let's see. We'll use a lighter green this time. This one was yellow green. Now if you want to soften up your blacks, you go over it with that lighter color or white, and that'll soften up your blacks. If you want to enhance your color, you go over it with another color of that same hue. I'm using greens on this. Also, I'm going to use the spring green. It's close to yellow, just to show the black who's boss, just a little. Let's throw this all in there. If you threw white around really well, it'll be harder to move into that territory. So you protect your highlights that way. White's really good for that. And if your yellow is a little bit too dirty from the green, like maybe you just went a little overboard, you can throw white down again. White really gives it a nice contour. And then you can throw yellow on top of this, or whatever color that you need to lighten this up, or to get it to the point where you want it. You can go as fast or as slow as you want on here. Okay, so I'm going to throw a little bit more yellow in the areas where I just used white. And it kind of brings out more of the green yellow. I'm making it work. Make it work. Okay, so yellow's coming down. It's going to hit the top of these guys, but it's not really going to hit these guys. Because this is a different plane. If it does, it'll be either a darker yellow or a green. Okay? And going over the green with the yellow seems to bring out more of the green too. It just enhances it, I think. Alright. So jaunty Hulk. Looks rough, not a problem. We're going to smooth it all out with some more heat. Just go ahead and lay down more crayon. Like more, not more crayon. Lay down more crayon, because you need, if you want to move color, then you got to have color on there to move. Now remember what I said, when you go from the dark and then it gets lighter, going all the way to a lighter tone, but not to white. That's what's happening right here. But instead of using, like, I'm just using another green to get that reflective tone. So, and it looks rich. It gives it a richer tone. Richer green. And this is the regular green color. Go figure. Okay, so maybe I'll use that green tone right here. I'm going to have black and then to that lighter green tone. So let me try that now. And you don't even see the red anymore. Okay, just try to keep in mind that even this part here is round, even though it looks square. this sort of thing. Okay. And we can even get away with a little bit of darkness there. Okay. Green. Throw that green on in there. And just go ahead and color this bad boy in any way you want. It's going to be darker on the bottom underneath. So to remind myself, let's see, since the light is going to be there, there's going to be a shadow, and each finger, this is probably going the wrong way, probably the shadow needs to go that way, and why not? Let's have it go that way. And we'll have this underneath, make that black. Assuming that the ground is like this, right underneath the hook. Alrighty, so take a second, blink, blink, blink a couple times, and look at how your colors are playing. Are they deep enough? Are they rich enough? Do you need a little bit more black? Do you need less black? Do you want more black? Do you want to make these pop more? Add more black? Add more green. Eventually you won't need to heat to get things to blend the way you want. Sometimes these things will blend on their own, but you know, it's up to you how much blending you want, how much you want it to smooth out. Going to blend from light to dark. Just to bring that green in there. Get it to the edges, any place where there's too much paper showing. Just to soften it. Now, sometimes, even despite your best efforts, the paper is going to still look rough. There's nothing you can do about that. That's just the grade of the paper. Alrighty. Okay. Alright. Let's do some more. But keep going. Push on. Push on. Over here is forest green. I'm using forest green around the edges here. Wherever it's bending. Just to fill in the blanks for some of this. Some of it I might go back over with yellow or white. And keep in mind that since this is close to us, we're going to have more detail here than any place else on the Hulk. So you want to be mindful of your colors. Dark goes back, light comes forward. So we'll start using some of the lighter tones. And let's see. I wonder if the Hulk has black nails or if he's got green nails. I wonder if the front page will tell me. Black nails are so in though. Yeah. Let's see. How hip are they? Oh, they're green. He doesn't want anybody to see how. Ooh, that would be cool. I could put like a little, what do they call it? Fingernail polish brush here, and like him painting his nails or something like that. Let me stop. Kim defeminizing the Hulk, or feminizing the Hulk, bring out his feminine side. I guess that's why we have the She-Hulk. That way we don't have to do that. Nobody said the Hulk was metrosexual. Cares about his nails. He's so manicured too. Hulk broke nail. Another reason to Hulk out. Broken nail. Okay, so I'm just adding some black for dimension and for drama. And then I'm going to go over that with some green. Just to make it a deeper, darker color. And I think this looks really good with more green on it. More green, more green. There we go. A little bit more. And then I'll probably end up giving it more highlights. More green, more green. It's good with more green. Okay, alright, keep going. Keep going. Your arm can get tired. Hook smashing. Okay. Rub it in just a smidge. it just smooths it right out. Oh yes, lovely. Now if your first attempts at this aren't successful, just keep trying, because my first attempts at this weren't successful either. And then you'll get mixed results. Let's go. Yeah, that was not my best, and I apologize for that. I couldn't even ask you guys to subscribe because it looks so bad. But you know what? I'd rather see a trial and failure than never to have tried it. So my failures, may they be your words to the wise. Okay. Okay, so let's make that just a little darker, but not enough so that it's going to really make a big difference to anybody. It's like, ooh, Hulk got his nail done. That'd be funny, David Banner, the Hulk's alter ego, just woke up and he's got like his nails done. Hulk got pedicure. Hulk treats self. Hulk don't treat self. Who's gonna treat Hulk? No. Sometimes you just gotta look at it in a different perspective. Okay, you got Knuckles here. Knuckles have highlights. So there's one highlight there. Not much else anywhere else, but just, you know, one of those things to keep in mind. Yeah, Hulk's only a couple colors, right? Now, if you don't have the 64 pack of crayons where you have like 50,000 shades of green, you can get the same effect by using, you know, the color wheel to get your greens. Adding blue, adding yellow, adding red to get that deeper, darker color, things like that. So all is not lost if you do not have the God set. And I think the only thing with the 100 is that it comes with like some of the extra crayons, like the glittery crap and things like that. But Hulk don't need glitter. That'd be funny if I did. Ooh, that'd be funny, just having like a glitter trail come through. Like the Sailor Moon of Hulks. His name is David Banner, not Michael's. Okay. And we'll dull that up a little bit since... Okay, so we've got our Hulk fist. And that's coming forward. This I might make a little bit lighter. This I might keep about the same, but getting it darker around the edges here. And then this is going to be darker green. This is going to be a lighter, slightly dark, maybe about close to this time. So let's do it. Okay, let's come back this way. Oh, get rid of the flakes. Do a once over. Let's see. This one here is Granny Smith, and we'll let Granny Smith take hold. And I think Granny Smith is happy. Okay. We'll just go into the yellows a little bit. There we go. Now your Hulk might look a lot different depending on your values, but all in all, if you got green on there, It's a good start. Okay, so let's see. I'm doing the chest. This is where I've determined where the dark tone is going to be. Oh, and to give us a leg up, let's do the back. Black crayon will be gliding across this thing. And again, you only need to have it on for a few seconds. It's not like your paper is going to catch fire after a few seconds. You don't want to keep it on for like a whole 10 minutes or anything like that. The heat gun can't handle 10 minutes and it'll start to overheat. So a few seconds is all it takes to get these pencils. I'm so used to saying pencil. It should be a drinking game. These crayons to move. Okay, so the top of it's going to be like a lighter. We'll make it, instead of a bright yellow, we're going to have it be like this green yellow. That'll be the highlight for this bad boy. And then up here, we'll probably make this just a little bit brighter yellow, because we're getting further away from the light and it's, you know, Colt's doing his thing. Okay, so green, green, green. This one here is forest green. We're going to go over that entire thing with forest green. Just barely skimming the yellow, or rather, whatever this yellow green was, or green yellow that I just used. And I'm not going all the way to the very end, because that's when it's going to lighten up to a lighter green. And if you forget, that's okay. We've got white, which will give us a little bit of a base that we can go back over. So all is not lost if you screw up or have a happy accident. Rub it in, rub it in. Every day is ab day for the Hulk. There we go. Alright. Oh yeah. I was going to have it like with some blue highlights coming from the back. How you do that? Well, you pick a blue and you stick it in there. Instead of using yellow or white as your highlight, blue will be your highlight. So we'll throw that around the edges where the white was, and we'll just go in a little bit, just enough to let him know that there's something blue behind him. And then on his feet, and then on the edges of the other side, because blue is coming this way, this is coming to us, so it may not see as much blue. But mostly it'll be all around this end here. I'm not sure if his tush will see some of the blue, but yeah, because it's going to be behind him. Okay, but it's coming in this way. Alrighty, and if it's around that way, we might have a hint of it here on this side. Since this is in front of us, that's in the distance, yada yada yada. And it's going to be blue coming this way. Let's see, but it's way back here. Okay, just to give it drama. Okay, and then we can make that blue a little bit softer or a little bit lighter. Somebody turn off that blue light. Okay. And then I'm going to soften it up a little bit with white. Let's get rid of some of this schmutz. Okay. We'll throw just some of the yellow around some of these edges here. And then we'll just keep going over with the green. Looks a little messy, but that's okay. If you find one color is overpowering another one, like I said, you can layer them on top of each other. You don't want to use your heat gun until you've got enough on there that it'll melt it, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw this stuff on really hard, this green, as much as it'll take. I'll even go into the blue. Okay, rub it off. Okay, I'm not going to blend it just yet. I'm going to get a darker green. Ooh, I haven't used this one. This one is asparagus. Ooh, asparagus would probably be great on the feet, because it's nice and dark. Right now I'm just going to color this in. That brings this out further. And we'll also make that darker. This foot is going to be in the back, and it's going to be darker, so I'm going to make it darker, as dark as I can, because I don't want it to take away from this right here, which is right in front of us, in your face. And yeah, it looks like crap. But this is what we want. Okay. Rub it off. Brush it off. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and throw a little bit. Well, let's heat it up first. I'm going to heat this up. So we're not going to blend. And hot, so it'll take the crayon. Look at this beauty. This thing is just melting right onto it. Okay. And I'm encroaching in other areas. And it kind of fills in the areas that weren't hit so hard until it starts to cool down and then comes out like a regular crayon. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. I'm not going to heat it up again, not just yet. Throw a little bit of yellow on there. Any of the places where I might have lost that love and feeling down below, I'm going to add it all back. There we go. Because this is reflecting some of the light. Okay. Okay, so get ready with my next crayon. I'm going to use green, and it's getting dull, so I'll eventually be tearing into it. I'm going to warm this up again. About 20 or 30 seconds, and then throw more of the green just around the center. Go. And in a circle. Okay, just enough yellow to show, and then I'm going to toss a little bit more yellow on there just because. Just having a little bit of movement of tone. And cover up some of these white spots. Just lighten some of it up. Alright. Swish it. Okay, next time we touch it, we're going to blend. Okay, blender. And this is just pretty much, you can fill in your white spots, any places that you missed. Alright, now we're back. I am going to add just a little bit more color to the zip pods. And then I'm going to heat it up again. Let's see, where's that color? The one that looks blue. That was awesome. This one here is blue violet. It looks amazing. For the Hulk winter or spring, no, the Hulk summer collection, he is rocking the plum and velvety purple, more dark purple, highlighted in blue. All the cool Hulks are wearing it. Okay, here's what it looks like when you sharpen it with a regular sharpener. It's not bad. It's not the best tip, but if I go any further, it'll break the rest of it off. Okay, let's see what we got for the Hulk here. Get down into here. See, is this hair black? Yeah, it is black. Okay. Let me guess, his eyes are green. As green as they can possibly get. I got a colored pencil. See, there's no effing way I can get this into here all nice and neat. Let's see, I could try. Just a smidge. Okay, and I'll use my colored pencil. I don't feel like getting all pissy over not being able to get this guy straight. Another Red Skull incident. Okay, at least I got the multitude of crap on his face here. There we go. Still a Crayola product. Guess I rubbed it off. Let's see. Maybe a darker. Yeah, here we go. A deeper, darker green. Now we're cooking. This one here is regular green. Bringing just enough green to his face because I don't know worky so much. Bendon, God, dandruff, stop making these features so tiny that you can't use your pencils and crayons on. Red Skull. Huh. Okay. Red skull was embarrassing. I know I could have done better. Let's see, this one here, that's not the yellow I'm looking for. Got a billion colored pencils here. Okay. This one here is lemon yellow. Ooh. Let's soften up some of this green. Ooh, taking off some of my crayon. How dare it. The nerve. Okay. There we go. And everywhere the light touches, it's our kingdom. Okay. So tempted to like throw a little piece of hair in his eyes. It's like, Hulk smash. Let's give Hulk more hair. Okay. Alrighty then. Shall we smash with purple hair? Oh, we'll smash with blue hair. There we go. We got blue on the side. And his teeth. See, Hulk got good dentist, so let's go ahead and just make it a little bit gray to send it to the back. Grr. There we go. Look at that beautiful smile. Yeah. Let's hide it a little bit. There. Yeah. Oh well. Okay. Let's see if we can blend a little bit. Ugh, too green. Okay, and let's take up the slack on some of this. Bit of yellow. Let me sharpen my let's see if we'll get the tip that I'm looking for. Do not drop these on to the picture. So tiny. Oh, I hate that it's too tiny. I'm so sorry, Hulk. Okay. Alrighty, let's wipe this off. Alright, and we have the Hulk. I would look over it one more time, make sure I didn't leave any spots white, or if I did, fill it in with the appropriate color. Alrighty, it's better than a poke in the eye. And then we'll see if we can do something about his hair. Let's add a little bit more color there. Barely see his lovely eyebrows. Details too small. Alrighty. Okay, so there we have it, the Hulk in all his glory. I don't like his teeth, so let me fix that. I have too much gray there, but definitely, if you can, if you've got Facebook or Instagram or any of that stuff, I'd love to see how you use the crayons. Okay, so hit me up, let me know where to find you, where to find your work, and I would love to check you out, give you a shout out. And together we will make crayons great again. There we go. All right, have a great one, and thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and please let me know what you think, or if there's anything that you'd like to speak. If there's another superhero that you'd like me to give this treatment to, I'm all ears. And right before you go, let me show you what I'm working with in the future here. So here's the Hulk. And let me show you some of the other pictures that I've got available to me. These guys, oh God, pray for me. Okay, I've got Capitan American, Thor, Loki, which is not too bad. I might work on him. The Falcon, oh God, look at all those tiny details. The Black Widow, Atuma, which is so tempting, but he's so tiny. It's like they care about more of his sword than anything. Hawkeye, Super Adaptoid, never heard of him. Captain America, Captain Americana again. Ooh, I'm thinking about doing this one. Or this one to redeem myself on the Red Skull. Whether Captain America, our wonderful Hulk. I am not doing Ant-Man. Look at all those tiny details. I'm going to have to find some way of getting to that. Okay. Falcon again. Falcon. We are Loving the falcon in this. There's a lot of falcon love. I have no idea what this guy is. I don't know if that's Iron Man. If you guys have a clue, please let me know. And that way I can look him up and figure out who the heck he is. Okay, a Black Panther. Don't know who this guy is. He could be Black Panther. Might be, I don't know. I have no clue. There's the, whatever his name is, Iron Man. And connect the dots. Get his drawings. Maze. I wonder if I can do something crazy with Loki's legs. This was one of my first attempts. This was the very first attempt at trying to use the the crayons. This is the second, and I'm like, ooh, ooh, ooh. I don't want to draw him, but I was like, ooh, dang, he looks badass. And then I kept going. There's my Captain America, but he was at such a weird angle, nobody could see me do the work. Hulk again, that lovely Hulk Buster. He's going to be an interesting one. Ultron. Okay. So if any of these tickle your fancy that you want to see, I want to do Nick Fury. I want to color him next. Black Widow. I believe she was like the second one I've done. Oh, there's another Hulk. Okay, and this guy is Whiplash. I gotta look him up. I have no idea. Okay, I don't know if he's good, bad, or indifferent. Okay, today is not your day, Whiplash. Well, this one might be interesting to do. Looks like a job for Iron Man, and then it jumps into Spider-Man. So what a coinkydink that BK found this stuff. So there we go. This was going to be one of my ideas to do. Maybe next. Who knows? It's a lot of Spider-Man pictures. Spider-Man glamour shots. This is the one I ultimately chose. Your face! Alright. I have no clue. It'll come to me. I can't remember what his name was. Electron? I think this one was the Scorpion. You make him so tiny. Make him big as life, him super tiny. This might be fun to do with the things. I tried to do this with colored pencils, warmed up the paper, colored pencils, and then tried to use the signature brush dual tip marker thingies. I didn't like the effect, so I don't know if I'm going to finish Crayon or not. Ooh, could do the lizard. Mr. Lizard. I think he wears like purple pants too, but he's got no pants on this one, but he's got pants on that one. I don't know. Alright. This might be an awesome one. Breaking the barriers. This one looks tight too. Let's see. And Spider-Man, and the Avengers. Alright. Well, thank you for watching this tutorial on, these are all the colors that I used. Let me pull these up. Again, I used crayons. I used pencil sharpener. I used, what did I do? Oh yeah, here they are. I used blending stubs and hairdryer slash hot air gun. Alright, and I didn't burn myself. Not that I ever burn myself, but you know, there's that possibility. Again, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you later in the next video. Bye.